Learner will exhibit following outcomes on going through this module. Learners will acquire basic knowledge of curriculum development. Learner will understand the importance of adult learners' characteristics for curriculum development. Learner will be able to reflect on the andragogical approach for curriculum development of adult learners. Learner will be able to drive the commonalities from various approaches of curriculum development for adult learners. Learner will be able to apply the knowledge of the curriculum development approaches into the construction of curriculum for the adult learners. Curriculum development deals with the arrangement of curricular material to facilitate implementation. In developing a curriculum, a number of factors are considered. These factors include the learners who are the curriculum recipients, the teachers who are the curriculum implementers, the society culture from where the learners come and where they will function after schooling. Talking about the curriculum approaches, curriculum practitioners and implementers may use one or more approaches in planning, implementing and evaluating. IVOV 1994 complained that there are several curriculum approaches which initiates from 4 steps approach given by McCulloch in 1942 to 7-step approach of Hilda Taba 1962 or several other approaches given by various agencies or institutions. There are several commonalities among them which can be figured out. Therefore, the present module has been developed keeping all the previous curriculum approaches in mind and highlighting the important factors and commonalities of all those approaches. However, for the easy understanding of this module for the learners, a background is framed out in context of the real life scenario. As understanding the scenario properly and associating yourself to the scene will help you to solve the problem posed in it with the help of the content presented in the module. In this scenario, Aruna is a leader of self-help group in a village and have completed her education from the city. She is very social and is always ready to help people every now and then. All other ladies in the self-help group were illiterate and always see her as an inspirational role model. One day, around 10 to 15 ladies approached her and said, "Aruna, like you, we also want to have basic education at least, so that we can also carry out our day-to-day activities without any hurdle." At first, Aruna didn't understand what to say them, but at the same time, she genuinely wanted to help out these ladies. She said, "Okay, after work in the evening, we can sit for one more hour. Maybe I can help you out." All ladies go happy and went back to their homes. But after they went, Aruna came into perplexed mode. A series of questions were bombarding in her mind. She was not knowing how to educate these ladies and from where to start. What she can teach them so that they can have basic knowledge. Age difference was also a problem for Aruna, as many of them were elder to her. Some of them were of Aruna's age and a few were younger than her. This age difference was also leading to different intellectual abilities of them. So she was unable to decide how she can tackle the needs of all the ladies. Were they really motivated to educate themselves? If yes, then what is the reason or real purpose behind it? What kind of environment can be where she can educate them? Above scenario arouse a number of questions in front of you all, which includes how can be this special class of adult learners should be treated? What can be the content of teaching to adult learners? What are their intellectual needs and how can we identify those needs? What kind of learning environment should be given to them? How can many more ladies or other adults alike them can be motivated for learning? Many more similar questions might be running across your mind. This module will help learners to get answer to all the above questions or other questions alike them. The term curriculum has been derived from the Latin word curricere, which means a race course or a runaway on which one runs to reach a goal. Accordingly, a curriculum is the instructional and the educative program by following which the pupils achieve their goals, ideas and aspirations of life. It is curriculum through which the general aims of a school education receives concrete expressions. However, there is a vast difference between traditional and modern approach of curriculum. The traditional curriculum was subject centered, whereas the modern curriculum is child and life centered. Modern concept of curriculum focuses on modern education, which is the combination of two dynamic processes. The one is the process of individual development and the other is the process of socialization, which is commonly known as adjustment with the social environment. Various educationalists has given various definitions of curriculum, but the basic element in all the given definition was just one, and it is that the curriculum includes all the learners' experience in or outside school or various form of activities that are grand expression of human spirit which help the learner to develop emotionally, socially, spiritually and morally. The curriculum, however, can broadly be divided into explicit, implicit, null and extra curriculum, depending on the basis of its scope. Explicit curriculum includes the subjects that whatever the subjects that will be taught has the identified mission of the school and the knowledge and the skills that the school expects successful students to acquire. Explicit curriculum, however, implicit curriculum includes the lessons that arise from the culture of the school and the behaviors, attitudes and expressions that characterize the culture. Topic or perspectives that are specifically excluded from the curriculum come under null curriculum. Last but not the least, extra curriculum includes school sponsored programs that are intended to supplement the academic aspect of the school experience. It is very much important that no matter what kind of a curriculum anyone is designing, but there should exist a balanced integration of cognitive, affective and psychomotor objectives and abilities, knowledge and experience, objectives and content, learners' activity and needs, along with societal needs and activity. Everything of it should be related to the social environment of the students. Values also plays a very crucial part in the formulation and implementation of educational ideologies. Basically, two kinds of values are important in curriculum making, and they are ultimate values that determine the aims and purposes of education. Whereas, the other kind of values are the instrumental values that are related to the means of education. Both of these values only decide the type of curriculum appropriate for any kind of learner, be it child, youth or adult. At this point, think what according to you can become the content of the curriculum for rural adult learners in context to their cognitive, affective and psychomotor development. Andragogical approach for adult learners. The present module is discussing about the curriculum approaches in adult education. Here, as everything is centered around the adult learners, therefore, this becomes the umbrella approach for the curriculum development. Andragogical approach involves the proper understanding of the concept of andragogy, but Before dealing sub-approaches under andragogical approach, it becomes important to understand the gist of adult education more technically. Generally, for the adult learners, it becomes difficult to understand their needs and desires, which leads to the development of the faulty curriculum. Therefore, it becomes very important to understand the adult learner's characteristics, their needs, their intellectual and motivational aspects, their learning styles in such a way that a curriculum which can really prove to be helpful to them is formed, that is devoid of all the irrelevant content, as the relevant curriculum only can attract the adult learners to be the part of the lifelong learning cycle. In the early 1970s, an educator named Malcolm Knowles proposed that adults learn differently than do children and used the term andragogy to describe this philosophy of the art and science of teaching adults. Andragogy includes four basic assumptions of adult learners, which include their self-concept, experiences, readiness to learn, orientation to learning, and motivation to learn. Andragogy, which is truly learner-centered, where the learners are independent, self-directed, intrinsically motivated. Environment is more informal, which is characterized by equality, mutual respect, and cooperation. Planning is a collaborative and self-reflective assessment affair. Thus, learning is facilitated, learning and teaching is characterized by inquiry projects, experimentation, and independent study. According to Macros 1999, the adult learner learns best when others respect and acknowledge them and their past experiences and personal knowledge, skills, values, and motives. When they are treated in a way which are consistent with their existing description of who they are and what they are capable of doing. When their learning bears some relationship to the past experience and can be connected to their existing meaning and personal mode of reality. When they have some sense of where they are going in the learning process, how they will get there and how they will know when they have succeeded. Andragogical approach involves following sub-approaches, which are discussed under the given heads. Problem-solving approach of adult learners. How and what teaching quantum should be emphasized in the curriculum depends on one of the major factors, which is problem-solving of adult learners. In 1970, William Perry proposed a useful model for capturing the development or maturation of our thinking abilities that can lead to problem solving. As at any stage, intellectual development also solves the problem of that particular stage. Thus, those three general stages are as follows. Stage 1. Dualism or received knowledge. It refers to a belief that knowledge is absolute and attainable, that there are right and wrong answers, that the truth is out there. Learners believe that teachers will pass these truths along to them and that their roles as students is to learn all the right answers. Students at this stage prefer material that is black and white and often becomes confused and frustrated when asked to deal with shades of grey. Stage 2. Multiplicity, subjective knowledge. It refers to an acceptance by the learners that there are multiple truths available versus one right answer. While learners accept this, they do not fully comprehend the underlying argument that these truths cannot judge their merit well, if at all. The teacher is viewed as being in possession of these multiple truths and responsible for guiding students to them. Stage 3. Relativism, procedural knowledge. It involves an acceptance on the part of the learner that knowledge is relative and situational. That is, Each individual construct his/her knowledge based on experience and reflection facilitated by the teacher in greater or lesser degrees based on the needs, wants of the learner and the educational objectives. The learner's role is to critically reflect on multiple perspectives and determine the most suitable answer in a particular situation. Capturing all these stages, the curriculum should be formulated in such a way that it gives scope to the adult learners to match up the content of the curriculum with their level of intellectual development for problem solving. As a comfort match for dualistic thinkers would be a facilitating style preceding knowledge as absolute truth, probably through lecturing. A developmental match for multiplicit thinkers would be a facilitating style, encouraging and supporting individualistic thinking, probably through discussion. Adults may need assistance in learning skills, typifying the post-formal stage of cognitive development, such as finding and formulating problems, asking questions, recognizing instances in which transfer of knowledge or skill can occur, depending projective images of future possibilities and working towards them, dealing with uncertainties, ambiguities and doubts, thinking critically, reflecting on action and learning to learn. Mental incentive approach. Other than interaction between content and learner's mental incentive, interaction between mental incentives and societal environment, both ways should be considered while developing curriculum for adult learners. Much effort has been spent in trying to identify which of the countless and complex aspirations, drives and incentives of mankind are most significantly related to the participation in adult education. On the surface, the problem does not seem difficult. Those who conduct programs often believe that they have identified important personal or social needs that require only clear and urgent expression to become incentives for action. The belief that the clarification of goals give rise to action run deep in adult education. Steke, 1935, builds the case that adult education should be centered around the 7 great arts, which includes perfecting philosophies, advancing cooperation, using science, increasing income, improving use of income, improving use of time and advancing beauty. It is important to start with the people, where they are. For it, an early attempt was made by Gray and Munro in 1929, who inquired directly about the reading interest of adults. For curriculum construction, it is important to examine analytically all the aspects of motivation for learning. As the adult learning is juggling in various aspects of family, friends, work and need for personal quality time, it becomes very difficult for an adult to make room for learning. Therefore, taking all aspects into consideration, it is required to create a flexible curriculum program which can accommodate busy schedule and accepting the fact that the responsibilities can create hindrance in the learning process. Most potent motivators are intrinsic rather than extrinsic. Therefore, curriculum for adult learners should be so diverse, able to present a role model in front at the same time fun-filled. Also gives the opportunity to be creative and techie savvy, along with the value addition of being positive, respectful to others' opinion and being empathetic. Learning environment approach. Conducive climate to learning is one of the important needs of the adult learners. Knowles in 1973. While reading the above stated phrase, many questions come across your mind as What can one learner from studying the learning environment? How important is environment? What makes a positive learning environment? Novels in 1973 have classified climate into three categories: the physical, the interpersonal, and organizational environments. Physical environment. According to Fulton in 1991, comparing to child, adults are more influenced by the physical environment. It motivates adult learners. Andragogy suggests informal structures are more useful, which involves setting chairs in circles, engaging in group discussion, and creating a collegial atmosphere. Even the distractions should be looked upon and are treated accordingly. Creating a comfort climate is necessary for effective learning to take place. Interpersonal environment. Other than physical environment, James in 1985 reported that the trainer's behavior and attitudes are more important contributors to the total environment. Organizational environment. The organizational environment includes the organizational structure of lecture to be delivered to adult learners, but before organizational structure of the institution. Jacob and Jones in 1994 stressed the need for collaboration and cooperative structure in a successful learning environment. Deming urges to break down all sorts of barriers which can be effective in improving rapport. Commonalities to all these is the desire to learn for everyone. Active participation by all allows an individual's knowledge to contribute to the progress of others. At this point, consider one adult from your surrounding. Now, list out the various motivational factors which can motivate that adult to be the learner. Commonalities in curriculum approach for adult. Curriculum is a rationality for viewing, analyzing and interpreting the curriculum, an instructional program for an educational institution. According to National Adult Literacy Agency in 2009, curriculum approach is the way by which curriculum can be developed considering the central point of making personal, social and economic dimensions and opportunities was real. Curriculum approach should focus on developing curriculum in such a way that enable adult learners to become increasingly effective participants in multiple literacy practices. There are two basic models on which this present module has focused and bring out the commonalities which every curriculum approach should adopt. The reason for selecting these two models only is that one reflects the initial basic 4-step model given by an educationalist, while other is reflecting the model adopted by National Adult Literacy Agency. Most of these approaches have been shown in the slide. The Ralph-Taylor approach, which is the general and the basic approach of curriculum development. The 4 points which were focused on are basically the educational purpose which any organization or institution seeks to attain. For attaining these purposes, there are various educational experiences which must be provided to the learners. All these experiences should be effectively organized in order to evaluate whether the aforesaid purposes has been attained or not. Therefore, for any curriculum construction, all the opportunities which can majorly cater the educational purposes along with their experiences should be given to the learners. It should be kept in mind that learning experiences are not the same as the course content. It is basically referred to the interaction between the learner and the external environment. Therefore, while making any curriculum, this basic approach of 4 steps should always be followed. Comparing to this approach, National Adult Literacy approach, which is specifically meant for adult learning, learner has been placed at the center of the figure. As learner and their context in which they live and learn are at the heart of curriculum development for adult learners. There are two rings, inner and outer ring. Outer ring has four key themes which indicate creative curriculum development. Those key themes are as follows. Illiteracy as social practice, which means that literacy is what people do, not what they learn. Second, critical awareness. Being aware that literacy and curriculum are shaped by where and how learning takes place. Number third, change. Effective curriculum development promotes change to help learners in meeting goals. Fourth, learning. Learning is participative and collaborative. Outer ring influences the aspects of inner ring, where the curriculum development process is learner-centered and it starts with context of learning, which is similar to Taylor's first point, educational purpose. This approach goes forward with planning, learning and teaching. And the last part is feedback into the context of planning, that is, review and evaluation. All of these aspects of outer and inner ring keep on interacting with each other. With both the Taylor's basic approach of curriculum development as well as the advanced approach given by National Adult Literacy Agency for adult learners. The present module has given the certain commonalities which should be kept in mind during curriculum construction for adult learners. This is discussed in subsection ahead. At this point, ask yourself, if you are supposed to teach about health program to adult learners, what andragogy will you follow to teach them? Summary. There are many approaches to curriculum development for adult learners, no matter which approach the curriculum development may select, but there must be a clear philosophy and set overarching goals that guide the entire curriculum and the decisions that affect each aspect of the curriculum. A basic framework must be outlined for what to do, how to do, when to do, and how to know if it has been achieved. There can be no perfect approach to be effective, but in case of curriculum development for adult learners, leaving all other stakeholders aside, only adult learners themselves have to be in the major focus. Following are the key points which has been collected from the commonalities of the curriculum approaches which should always be kept in mind while developing curriculum for adult learners. From both the curriculum approaches, the following common points have been linked out. Learners are the center of the model because the work in hand is theirs and they are the key actors in developing their curriculum. Good curriculum development for adult learners can only be done if their various roles, identities and purposes they choose and the various networks, communities and contexts they are involved in are looked upon. Adult learners' characteristics has to be studied thoroughly, which may include their interests, goals, experiences, views, feelings and learning needs. Learner's purpose. If the purpose of adult learner is keenly studied, then it helps in better understanding the range of factors affecting learning as well as the curriculum development opportunities, challenges and resources that exist in the relevant context. These purposes of adult learner can be presented at broader societal, political, cultural and economic level. At the same time, those purposes are linked up at the narrow level to immediate learning settings, which may involve family work, community and citizenship. Learner's experience refer to the interaction between the learner and the external conditions in the environment to which he can react. Curriculum development should be done in such a way that the teacher or the facilitator can provide an educational experience through setting up an environment and structuring the situation so as to stimulate the desired type of reaction. Learning experience which vary with the kind of objective aimed at. Andragogy involved. The role of the teacher for an adult learner is more of the facilitator. Teaching is concerned with the planning, facilitating and reviewing learning in ways that respect, support and challenge adult learners. Andragogy includes four basic assumptions of adult learners, which include their self-concept, experiences, readiness to learn, orientation to learn and motivation to learn. Instruction given by familiar should be taken into account the wide range of different background of learners and should be task oriented instead of promoting memorization. As the adult learners are self-directed, therefore curriculum development should be formed in such a way that it gives opportunity to them to discover things and knowledge for themselves without depending on others. Evaluation. For adult learners, learning builds on and grows through experiences. Therefore, evaluation is an integral to the process. However, reviewing is also as important as evaluation, but the only difference between them is that the reviewing is the part of every session and evaluation occurs at certain points. In adult learning, learners are also encouraged to develop the skill of reflection in action. While curriculum development, all these points must be focused.